Let's hope this works. Oh, it does seem to be. That's something. Alright guys, I'm just going to share alike. It's going to take, I didn't put a notice up, so it'll take a while before lots of people realise I'm online, probably. There we go. Lots of people realise I'm online. Okay, I'll just grab that. At least I've sort of done the lead off already. That's a good idea doing that, I think. Okay, so share to face cloth. I'm on pedal hard. No, I don't want to leave. Come on. Good grief. And Twitter. I really do have a love-hate relationship now with these mainstream social media sites. I mean, you know, without them, you know, I'd be cut off from people. But that's why I'm transferring as much as I can to other sites now. I'll just share. Hello, number one fan. How you doing? You got in before Charles. It's super soldier psychic gangster things. They're not working as well as they normally do. Oh, for some reason it's been shared twice. Not to worry. I was going to share it around the groups. Posting. Oh, third rail radio. These are just the various groups on Facebook there. I tend to distribute my materials. And the Basis Project. I always share my stuff for the Basis Project. I'll just delete this second share. Move to. How do you do it now? Good grief, they're so user unfriendly, aren't they? Anyway, hello. I've got 15 people watching. Number one fan. I'm not bad, thanks. Rick Horden. Good evening to you too. David Schultz, hello. It's snowing in Maine. Oh my goodness me. Send some of it over here, will you? I'll take some of the stuff from Pakistan off their hands. You know, that's... Hello. Deborah Elliott, hello. Bernie Tucker, good evening. Della Farrant, how'd you do? Let me just do the zoom in because I'm getting old and I can't see properly. There we are. But how are you? Greetings, David Schultz and Della Farrant, that's right. Thanks for reminding me. I am actually on the Nocturnal Frequency radio tonight. And when I say tonight, for Della and me, that means tomorrow morning, 2 a.m. Oh, God. I'll be. It's not too bad. I mean, I can sleep. I'll go to bed as soon after I finish this live stream, and then I'll sleep for a bit, and then wake up and go back to bed afterwards. I don't have to start excessively early tomorrow morning, but it is a work night. Yeah. But yeah, Della, you're going to stay up for it. Thanks very much. It will be a podcast afterwards if you can't catch it live. Hello, Lisa. How are you? Pat Riot. Good evening. Livestream Recordings UK. That's a good name. Happy New Year to you too. Oh, you belong to a Skywatch Isle of Wight UFO group. That's cool. Brilliant. Well done, Teller. Thanks. Hello, E.T. Hello, Bex Cobham. How you doing? Well, so, how you doing? You'll be there too, number one fan. Thanks very much. Yeah, 2 a.m. Nocturnal Frequency Radio. Let me just find that channel. Where is it? Oh, I'll do it later. But it's worth doing. I will put it. No, I will put it in chat actually because
3 or 4 weeks ago.
There we are, nocturnal frequency. There we are, right. Because they have a... Oh, it's already... I think it's already been set up. Let's have a look. There's already a station here. Live in 6 hours, yeah. I can not only give you the station, I can give you the actual stream before it starts. Oh, you got the link too, Della. Nice one. How are you guys? Galexian, you've already answered the question I'm going to ask you. Oh, bugger, I never watched it. It looks crap. So I've got to ask you the big question. How many of you watched Soylent Green? Did a lot of you pick it up? Did you watch it? You had 2 days. Because I'm interested to hear what you have to say about it. I mean, I'll need people to sort of give me their opinions through this live stream. Oh, you saw it decades ago, Lisa. Yeah, it seems a bit corny, but the themes are very current. Some of them are, yeah. I mean, the way the government works and things like that, and food quality and things like that. Those things, also euthanasia and things like that. Those themes are very, very relevant. Yeah. Others less so. Oh, you watched it, Deborah? Great. Bex, brilliant. It's number 1 fan. Yeah, Alex and Steve, they do a great show. It'll actually be my 3rd time I've been on there, which is great. It's worth staying up for. I used to go on. The old. I forgot what it's called now. It'll come to me in a minute. But I used to go on a program really early in the early hours of the morning, sort of thing. You didn't see it? Oh, it's never heard of it, but I'm sure to watch it now. Et. No worries, we'll check it out. There will be spoilers in this live stream, unfortunately. Well, there were a few in the review I did. Yeah, what people are eating. That's the big. Yeah, Lisa's put it right. I think one of the most relevant themes, and the one most applies to the real 2022 is food quality, because in the world of Soylent Green, this imaginary future, the current year 2022, if food has just basically vanished. It's yes, I've heard lots of rumours about McDonald's. Lisa said, not even going there, read McDonald's and the rumours, but who knows? Yeah, it's who knows. God knows what they put in them, in their food. I mean, whether it's actually literally true, the premise of this, Soylent in McDonald's burgers. Yeah, Soylent is supposedly a portmanteau of soy and lentils. Oops, someone's hang on 1 second. This could be for work. Hello? Hi. Right, I'll get back to you on that. Okay, I'm just in the middle of another call right now. Thanks. Yes, I will get right back to you. I'm just in the middle of another call, but I'll get right back to you. All right, cheers. See you then. All right, things I've got to keep the phone on. I know it's not very professional, but people from work might want to contact me. Number 1 fan, please don't forget hit that like button. Like, share, subscribe. You've got beans and lentils. Yeah, you see, soy is not good for you, I know, especially if you're a man. But beans and lentils are all right. I quite like lentils. They give you terrible wind, but they're still all right. They do me anyway. But the people in this Soylent Green scenario, they're desperate to get this Soylent Green because there's other Soylents. The Soylent Corporation, which makes them, has Soylent Yellow and Soylent Red. And they're obviously filled with something like monosodium glutamate, which makes the food addictive. And people will go and grab it. They'll go and they'll be desperate to get hold of it. And because it becomes kind of addictive. When Soylent Green comes out, to begin with, they don't have the supply. And there's actual riot because people can't get enough of it. This is when they bring in these scoops, where they bring these lorries in with great big things like bulldozers use to pick people up and literally throw them into the back of the lorry. Gnarly Slice Matt. Hello, Gnarly Slice Matt. How are you? The furniture reference is hilarious. Yeah, furniture girls is their euphemism for prostitutes, basically. This is it. This is what I said in my review. There's like a, there's the rich upper classes and things like that. They're completely separated from the rest of the population. Real food is just too expensive for most people. You know, a jar of strawberry jam is $150. You know. Oh, Richard Kinsey, you watched yesterday. You noticed T'Pau was the head of the council. That's right. Mr. Spock's grandmother, T'Pau. It's a good name, that, from Star Wars. Star Trek, yeah. Yep. Yes, it was. I forgot the name of the actress. But yeah, it was. It was interesting she was in that, yeah. It has a star-studded cast. I mean, there's a huge... the people in it were like... interesting. It's interesting. Like, for example, it was... Edward G. Robinson was the guy. He's often acted with Charlton Heston because they used to do biblical epics and things like that. He was in Ben-Hur, and he's done several other films. But as David Schultz says, it was and not long ago on a streaming service. Yeah, I saw it on Amazon. Edward G. Robinson. It was his last ever film. A great actor who did many great films in his time. Yeah, he did. It's sad actually because in the scene, as you know if you watched it, Celia Lovsky, that's her, Richard, yeah. Pot noodle, anyone, said Rick. Oh, I can tell you what. I processed food of any kind now is starting to look particularly disgusting to me after watching that. I've never seen the film before. But there's a scene where Edward G. Robinson's, his character, Sol, he actually, he opts for voluntary euthanasia. And they'll do that. They'll literally put you out of your misery if you've... I mean, obviously, this is another very topical issues because there's campaigns both for and against it in much of the world. In some countries, it is legal. But he's just so depressed by what he's discovered, by the state of the world, that he wants to do away with it. I mean, he's pretty old, and they'll let you go out. The actual mechanism of how they kill you is probably some kind of poisonous pill or something, which takes a while. They'll let you sit and watch films of the old world before the destruction, you know, of nature, of oceans full of fish, and you know, waterfalls in mountains with trees and things like that, which are now gone. And you can go out in peace and harmony. And when he was, that was the last scene. Not only the last scene where he appears in the film, it was the last scene they filmed as well in the filming schedule, because films aren't always shot in order. You don't necessarily do the scenes, which are in the order of the films. You do the scenes where you can get the thing organised. But Edward G. Robinson, he was there, and Charlton Heston said that he didn't have to pretend to cry. I mean, he does. He's supposed to be famous for his stoicism, but of course, Charlton Heston can portray very emotionally highly strung characters. He did in Ben-Hur. I mean, he does it very well, as well. You can feel his passion in that film, and you can in this one. He was crying when he was talking to Sol through an intercom, and he didn't have to fake that. He really did cry. And Robinson didn't actually say anything at the time, but he had been to the doctors. He knew he didn't have long to live. He had cancer. He didn't have long to live. And he died 12 days before, 12 days after the end of production, yeah. Livestream says, got a lot of soup, thought the virus would... Yeah. It can't be poison, it would taint the food supply. Well, it's not poison as such, it's just horrible. It's a horrible thing. It's a disgusting, horrible thing. Lisa says, so the whole premise of Soylent Green is that the system has people eating themselves. Yeah. Soylent Green is made from people, right? Yeah. I mean, it's not really a spoiler. I mean, everyone knows the classic line, because it ends with Thorne, Charlton Heston's character. He's back in the church where he started off from, and he's like going, It's Soylent Green is people. He's yelling. He's been injured. He's been carried away by these paramedics. It's Soylent Green is people. Yeah, Benji says Brock Peters was the chief of police. Yes, he was very good. And he had this great. He has this great sort of 70s afro. I mean, they don't make them like. You just don't get hairstyles like that anymore. He's got this massive 70s afro, which is very carefully sculpted. And it's, even though you could see it was made in the 70s, obviously they assume hairstyles are going to stay the same for the next 50 years. You know. Delicis Livestream. Yeah, hope you prepped replacement tin openers. All the ways of opening without them. I've got this. I'll tell you what. This is it's can opener I use. It's one of these old-fashioned ones. Now, not only could it be used as a weapon if you need to, but it's actually, it won't break. Your can openers often break after a while. This has no moving parts. It's one of these old type. I don't know what kind they are. You just dig it into the can, and you go like that, and it's yeah. Yeah, well, you've got to watch out for those zombies, haven't you, Della? Yeah. Cat Squatch returns. Hello, love you too, Cat Squatch. How you doing? The 70s were a good era for movies, says Gnarly Size Matter. Yeah, they were. But, you know, the whole thing about... Of course, this company's keeping all this quiet. You know, but you sort of like can guess what's happening. Della Francis, are you aware there's a dome made of otherworldly silver-covered material on your bed? I keep expecting it to start floating around the room. Oh, my God. It's an alien probe. It's a bloody alien probe. Oh, my God. Hello, Richard Kins. How you doing? It just flew in through the window earlier today. It's been sitting there ever since. I think there's a little alien body inside it. I don't know. All right, actually, it's a salad bowl. I just washed it. I just left it there because I've got nowhere else to put it right now. No, hello, Malaya Grim. Much love to you too. Hello, User One. You haven't missed much. I've only been going for I've been going for a few minutes. We're just sort of getting started. Hello, Williamism. How you doing? We're talking about Soylent Green, and you see, you're given clues very early on. It's not really much of a. Tina Silver says, nice quilt. Yeah, some very, very clever lady made that, didn't she? It's not really a spoiler. I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty obvious from the start. You see that because someone dies earlier on, this guy gets killed, and this is what the Thorn is doing because he's a policeman. He's investigating, and there's no funeral. I mean, the furniture girl, Shirl, she says, "Oh, my grandmother had a funeral, but they don't do them nowadays." Number one's can take the dog for a walk. Okay, number one fan. See you later. But people are just basically shoved on the back of a dust cart like rubbish, and they're taken away. And you think, what are they doing with the bodies? And you hear about this disposal place where they just throw them in. But of course, the horrible side. I mean, it's a horrible idea, but of course, it's just if you're in a society where you're short of food, well, it's fresh meat, isn't it? What are you going to do with it? I mean, it's a sad fact that in desperate situations, people will cannibalise. Gareth Thomas, is it Gareth Thomas, famous journalist? There's a film been made about it. Actually, I haven't seen it yet. But he's the guy who went to. He was a Welsh journalist who went to the Soviet Union in the 1930s, and went to Ukraine, and he saw villages that were just empty, and there was just bodies lying everywhere, and people were going around collecting the bodies, not to bury them, but to eat them, because it was the Holodomor. Useless eaters, Richard Kinsey. Yeah, well, you see, I do wonder. It's not actually said. They don't actually say in the film, but I do wonder. What was done with the rioters. Do you remember when the scoop comes in and picks them all up, like they're loose bricks, and shoves them in the back? It's these like builders vehicles, literally pick people up. What do they do with them? Where do they go? I mean, are they allowed? Are they just taken out of the area and then they just they let them go, or they put them in the jail cell overnight and then let them go? What's it going? Yeah. Yeah, Teresa Walker says here, great film. The one that sticks in your mind, the body bags being processed was a scene you can't forget. Yeah, Teresa Walker. It's it certainly crosses my mind whenever I see pot noodle on the shelf or walk past a McDonald's. We've been discussing that tonight. Of course, I know that I'm probably being too paranoid, but I do wonder. I mean, Tina, yeah, Charlton Heston was Moses as well. That's right. That's right. Indeed. What's the film called? Let me just find that movie. Hang on, because I haven't watched it yet, but I want to watch it. What was it? Oh, hang on. What was it? Let me just check, because it may be an idea for another watch party. I don't know, but it's this Welsh journalist. He discovers the Holodomor. I might not be able to find it. Oh, if I can't, it doesn't matter. But the guy's called Gareth Thomas. And the film, it has a simple sort of name. I can't remember exactly what it was. Gareth Thomas, journalist. Oh, they got the... No, that's not it. I'll just try Holodomor. Hang on a second. Holodomor journalist, that's it. No, Gareth Jones. Apologies, Gareth Jones. Gareth Richard Vaughan Jones. 13th of August 1905 to 12th of August 1935. He's young. Gareth Jones. He reported anonymously on starvation in the Ukraine. Yeah, because there was of course it was. This is what happens when you can't let people control the. If you let people control the food supply, this is what's happening. This is going to happen in South Africa now. Depictions in film. Mr. Jones is called. It's called Mr. Jones. I've got to see that. Hey guys, how's it going? There's a few more of you joined. Let's have a look. Yeah, the body bags. That's probably the most horrible scene in the film. And I'm going to put spoilers in here. You actually see they've been the dust carts drive up to the door, and then the normal driver gets replaced by another. This is interesting. This is how Charlton Heston's character gets in, because he hides with the dead body of his friend Sol. And he hides in the back, and then the normal driver gets out, and another one gets in. And then they drive the dust cart round. There's a whole procession of them, and then they dump them into this, looks like a pit of some kind. It's full of water, and presumably it's some kind of... I don't like to even think about how they turn dead bodies into these little green... They're like little green tablets. Or bars. Teresa, yes, I've heard of rumours about McDonald's. There's all kinds of rumours about McDonald's. All I know is about McDonald's, if you get one of those burgers, someone did this. I mean, it's a disgusting thought, and I don't expect everyone to do it. But get one of the burgers and try keeping it for a while. Now, most food it'll deteriorate. It'll putrefy. I've seen burgers, McDonald's burgers, like years old, and they dried out, but they haven't actually deteriorated. I wonder why they were. I mean, bacteria and ants and things like that are not normally fussy eaters, are they? David Schultz says, in some circles they call human flesh sweet pork. Oh, God, sweet pork. Ugh. Yeah. Lisa says, saddest thing of all, since all this C-word BS, I've never seen McDonald's. So busy. I groan every time I walk past. Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, they don't even let you pay with cash now. Apparently you can pay with cash in there, but it's not like I actually want to eat their stuff anyway. Mr. Jones, that's it. Mr. Jones. Oh, it's Cat Squatch as Mr. Thomas. Yeah, I think you've heard of the film Cat Squatch. It's Mr. Jones. I'll have to watch that. It is. I think it's on Amazon. I got Amazon Prime. I didn't actually buy Amazon Prime. It just comes free with my ISP. So Cat Squatch, maybe I'll watch that. Yeah. I've never seen V, Benji. Benji says the body bag scene remind me of V. Never seen that. Yeah. Tina says soul is resurrected. Well, it's yeah. I mean, I'm sure he goes to the Jewish heaven or whatever, But the idea is they put. Oh, of course, they don't tell anyone this. They tell the people that it's made from plankton, which is gathered from the oceans. There's a special ships that go around gathering plankton from the oceans. Except the oceans have died. There's just no life there anymore. And so they said, where's it coming from? Pete says the Uruguayan rugby team plane crashed in the Andes in 1972. They survived by eating the dead. There's a film about it. Yeah, it's called Alive. You just have sometimes you have to do that. Yeah, it is. Teresa Walker. Yeah, burgers are years old. They're dried out, but they are not. They haven't deteriorated any other way. They are kind of mummified. Richard, well done. If you want to take my cash out of my cold dead hands, yeah. Pay with cash. It's private. Cat Squatch. It's a good idea to watch that. I will watch it at some point. Fabian Moon, hello. How are you doing? It's a funny. It's obviously it's not taboo in all societies. I know in parts of Africa and New Guinea and places like that they practice cannibalism, and it's actually Fabian Moon. Are you Rob? Hey. You are Fabian, right? You are. It's actually considered in some parts of the world, it's considered a kind of an act of respect, because they believe that you actually, if you eat somebody, you take on some of the aspects of their character, qualities they have, even some of the luck or good luck or bad luck they have. So you wouldn't eat your enemies. You'd eat your friends, so it's often considered an act of respect. You'd have a funeral and there'd be a wake, and the main dish on the menu would be the deceased. Cat Squatch says Africa is something I can't see on YouTube, but I wouldn't want to live there personally. Cat Squatch, I wouldn't. It's not. It's a place I would. I'd visit. I know people who visited it, but Tina says she saw Alive at the cinema, and St. John's ambulance staff were on hand for those who collapse. Oh my God. Well, Tina, that's a really weird thing, isn't it? It must have been quite something. I mean, when in one of the films of 1984, I think it was the old film of 1984, apparently someone collapsed and died during the Room 101 scene. Nihilist says cannibalism is just culture. All cultures are equally valid and beautiful. Eating relatives is an expression of love. Nihilist, I mean, I don't think that's the case. I mean, maybe it is from my perspective here, and if I'd been born into a different society, I'd think differently. But I don't see all cultures as equally valid. I don't. I think some have horrible practices. I mean, even going down to things like circumcision and stuff like that. There's something objectively wrong with that. I mean, it's these kinds of rituals and things like that. I think that is objectively wrong. Cat Swishers, I like North Africa. I've been many times. I've known people who've been on holiday there, and they say it's a great place. Yeah. But someone mentioned Bill Gates is into what? 3D printed synthetic meat. Oh God, Kerry Woolley. Hi Kerry. That is just cool. Anything that guy is giving out. It's dear, yeah. David Schultz has mentioned the infamous Donner Party in This was one of the pioneers. There's some of these pioneer stories. Some of them are like it's like I did a big article about the 49ers because it was all connected to Area 51. Because that's basically they went through the area that's now Area 51, and this archaeologist went into Area 51, sneaked in to try and get to find little things they left behind. He's not into UFOs at all. He just sneaked into Area 51, but he discovered inadvertently lots of things to do with UFOs and that. You know. Lee Tina, you lived in Egypt, yeah. That's right. There's actually videos on your channel still, which you filmed there, I believe. What's black fly larvae, courtesy of Klaus Schwab? Is that what we're going to have to eat in the? Is that what we're going to have to eat in the pods? But it's like that, isn't it? Though, what does he talk about, Schwab? What does he talk about? He talks about. He says people eating lower on the food chain. So that means insect life, things like that, plankton, algae. And it's all to save the planet from destruction, apparently. No, Slice Matter said, I remember someone dying watching a fish called Wanda. Oh, my goodness me. They must be of a sensitive disposition. I thought that film was very funny. Klaus Schwab of the decks, says Kerry, yeah. But there's literally, you see, what's talked about, this is why I thought the film was very interesting. Obviously, it's not an accurate portrayal of the future in many ways. For example, they said, well, the population is going to increase so much that New York City will have 42 million people. And, well, obviously it doesn't. The population from New York City actually did increase between 1973 and 2022, but it only increased by 800,000. Now, there's also the climate change things, of course, is in there too. But this is when I think the whole concept of global warming first became popular. And you essentially have a world which is like the Permian mass extinction. You know, everything's incredibly hot everywhere. You know. And Teresa said the elites, of course, will still eat good food. They'll still eat normal food. They'll have steak and blue cheese and all these other things. So they're going to. The elites are going to continue their lives as luxury, like the pigs in Animal Farm. They'll say, we're going to bring in a new kind of society which is free and equal and everyone's going to be happy. You're going to be in your pod, you'll own nothing, you're going to be happy. You'll be in your pod, you'll be eating these foods which have MSG in, so you'll like them. They'll be made of algae and insects and maggots and things like that, but you won't notice. They'll still be very nice, like the Soylent food. All ultra-processed food which humans don't normally eat. But of course they won't, will they? Hello, Elizabeth Clayton. She says, oh, hi, I only found this channel the other day. Well, welcome, Elizabeth. Hope you enjoy this first live stream you're going to watch. Oh, it's Kerry Woolley says better than life. I think that's a reference to Red Dwarf. You know. Welsh Ripper, The Green Inferno is a cannibal horror directed by Eli Roth. I've not seen that though. I've seen Cannibal Holocaust, which is it's really nasty. It's yeah, Bill Gates will have a personal livestock farm. Yeah, it will literally be. Hi, and by the way, hello Welsh Ripper, how are you? That's the kind of situation they want. A resource-based economy which is completely controlled. Everyone will be simply part of this system and you'll have no access to your own finance or anything like that. There'll be no money. You'll have a ration, which you'll be given. Big Pharma, says Kerry, with an F. That's right. As in big PH, not as in the PH Pharma. That's right. Huge arseholes. Hello, Hugh. How are you? The middle-class Guardian readers will be sorry for what they wish for. Oh, could you imagine it, can't you? They'll be good, but we don't want this. This is not for us. You've been voting for this. You've been after this for ages. Because they're just useful idiots. They'll be used and then cast aside. John with the wind, hello. I'm very well, thank you. Yeah. Pat Riot, Snowpiercer is worth a watch. I've not seen that. But it's fear about the environment is a common thing. I mean, for example, the music I chose for the last two videos in this series it's a piece by Chris Zabriskie, and I use a lot of his material. He has like simply an attribution license. So long as you attribute him, you could use his music. And it's called Remember Trees? ? It's part of an album he's done about kind of post-apocalyptic environmental destruction. Richard Kinsey, enhanced humans with human livestock as protein population, 1.5 billion. Where's the moral dilemma? That's probably what they're up to, you know. That's probably what they're planning out on the whole thing. Rob says, if anyone's in any doubt as to the premeditated evil in motion, the destruction of natural orders and true humanity, see Max Egan's latest thing. Yeah, Max Egan, I consider him a political exile. I mean, if he hadn't left Australia, what would have happened to him? Yeah. So despite the fact that I think they treated the whole concept of climate change realistically as something real, a genuine threat. What they've done is they have nevertheless projected a vision into the future, which is extraordinarily concerning and perceptive, and that is to do with food quality, food production, the engineered. In this case, it would be engineered scarcity, not real scarcity, but engineered scarcity. That's the only thing they get wrong. They see it as something real, but of course, it's the threat of what you see in Soylent Green. It's justifying the very things they want to bring in. Pete says money will be replaced by a personal carbon allowance rationing. Yeah. It'll be a very extreme form of communism. People will be in cities. There'll be nowhere else you can go. You won't be allowed out into the countryside. You'll have like your 42 square feet or whatever to live in. And so everything will be delivered to you. And the plan is for a smaller population than what we have now, yeah. Kerry Woolley says the Earth is an E.T. theatre. Oh, blimey. Earth E.T. Oh, it's an anagram. Earth E.T. theatre. Yeah, that's good. Diego Rivera, hello. We have Israel Diego Rivera to... Sorry, Israel Diego Rivera, the genius to the real genius. Hello. No, this Lives Matter says it won't work out well. And reminds us of the US, French and Russian revolutions. People survive while the elites get liquidated in the end. I have faith in my fellow humans. I also think this time, I feel hopeful actually that this threat, it is a threat of what is to come. But it's a warning, it's not a prediction. It's something we can stop. Huge arsehole, sanctimonious Guardian readers, yeah. Oh God, they're awful, aren't they? They're the people who the Ramona. I never expected the Ramona phenomenon to be what it was. I really am not. I really thought they would lose more graciously and with more dignity. I knew they wouldn't be happy, but I didn't expect the Ramona thing. I really didn't. So the kind of thing you get with Soylent Green, the kind of food that's provided to people, and they have money. They call them Ds. The currency's D, which I think is just short for dollar. Is that proper food is very expensive, and beyond. But the Soylent is actually very cheap. So the normal people, just get the Soylent. Climate change, of course, is simply the big boogeyman. It's the ultimate in it's the ultimate expression, I think, in problem, reaction, solution. Yeah, Bex Cobban is the Guardian readers are going and always chuffing on about climate change. Heat pumps, log burners are bad. Oh, everything's bad. They're saying things like, cattle farming is bad. All these things we've been doing for centuries is bad. Because it's all natural. Everything that's meant to alleviate climate change, coincidentally, is everything that's needed to bring in the Agenda 21 thing. Ian108, hello, how are you? Ian says, I was looking for your Dr. Jonathan Reed lecture. Did you take it down or did YouTube remove it? Cheers. It was flagged, Ian, and YouTube removed it. However, it's on all my alt text sites, if you want to see it. It is there. It's all on all my alt text sites. So best thing is just go to the Herpanwo TV blog and just scroll down to where the notice is. You'll see the links to the other sites where I've got it up. I've got it there, yeah. No, this Lives Matter said, I think the Ramonas are a small proportion with a disproportionately large voice. Well, yeah, they're saying they're saying the things which the elite want. You know, Bob Geldof and that. Oh God, Geldof is awful. Diego Rivera asks, what will happen to the English Bigfoot? Is he carbon neutral? I don't know. I expect he's going to end up on one of these. I think he'll probably be on Anthony Fauci's dinner plate at some point. I'm afraid, Diego Rivera. I think that's the plan. Now, it's interesting. Kerry Woolley's brought up something interesting about technology. IHU apparently is the latest scariant. It's come out of France, and people are joking. It stands for I hump you, because basically that's what they're doing to us, aren't they? Elizabeth Clayton, smoking is going to be banned. God. I mean, I don't smoke, and of course I know it's bad for you. Everyone knows it's bad for you, but for God's sake, we're adults. We're not little kids. Aren't they bloody awful? They treat us like we're children. That's what they do. Well, they treat us like we're a cross between children and farm animals. Hatchie, love and respect, Ben. Love and respect you too, Hatchie. Keep up the fight for freedom and humanity and exposing what's basically on its way. Who would have bought the agenda? Certain household names and what they really represent. Absolutely, Hatchie. Thank you, I will. Nice Lives Matter calls Guardian readers social homeless middle-class types when the distinction between working and middle class is fast disappearing. Well, a lot of them are basically getting sucked into a food stamp lifestyle. You know, hipsters on food stamps. You've heard that catchphrase. Welsh Ripper says, eating human brains gets you kuru, and it's known as laughing sickness, and you die. That's in New Guinea they did that, and that's supposedly the human equivalent of BSE, the mad cow disease. But then they'll be glad, because the thing is, they want us to die, don't they? They want 90% of us to die. Yeah, so they'll be glad if that happens, I think. In fact, you know, there's there's something a bit Soylent-like in the whole scandal that came with BSE. Do you remember when mad cow disease first emerged in the 80s? Everyone thought, well, where could it spread to humans? Because it had already been established it spread from sheep. It probably spread from sheep to cows, because there was a disease of sheep called scrapie that had been around for centuries. And they said, well, how did it get into cows? And the reason is because they were basically taking sheep offal after they got the legs of lamb and things like that, and putting it into cattle feed. I mean, and not only that, but you know, dead cows, sheep dip chemicals, yeah. They're also being put. They were also put into cattle feed. So the cattle's finally what is being done with Soylent Green to the human population is we've been doing it to farm animals for decades. And there was this huge fuss about the fact they were actually putting some of this. They were putting some of this cow offal and all other kinds of offal. That is basically the stuff that what's left with the animal when you take all the fine cuts off. And they were putting it into burgers and sausages and pies and things like that. And they had to stop doing it because they're scared. Well, this is going to happen. This is going to spread to humans, isn't it? And a couple of people did come down with Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, which is the human equivalent of BSE. And after the government put up massive full-page ads saying beef was safe, then they have to admit, yes, this is probably Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease. It was probably caused by this person eating infected beef or infected meat of any kind. Now, and they say the thing is, well, beef is safe. They say, yeah, well, it is safe if you use standard natural farming practices. It's not safe in mass industrial farming. It's not. Diego Rivera says, have you heard of the UFO cult Heaven's Gate? Yeah, because of someone mentioned the Hale-Bopp comet earlier on. Yeah, they thought the Hale-Bopp comet was a alien that had come to save the world or something, and they committed mass suicide. It's a sad story. I've bought a book about it, actually. Yeah. Welsh Ripper mentions dripping. Yeah, dripping, that's high saturated fat is probably the best thing for you, actually. It is. Diego Rivera, is there a connection between animal mutilation and the V word? I don't know. I haven't heard of one. Nihilist Slice Matter says, I'm not against a smaller population, to be honest. I think it would be a good thing, but there's more holistic ways of achieving it. I think the human population should be allowed to find its own levels, and so long as we have the technology which will allow us to live in an environmentally non-destructive manner, it's quite likely the Earth could tolerate a higher population than it has now. Certainly could tolerate the current population of the world. What is obvious, the Earth is finite. It will not sustain infinite numbers of people, but it could sustain a large amount if we're living in an environmentally friendly manner. The thing is, what the elite are saying is, well, the environment we have to live in an environmentally friendly manner. We have to have Agenda 21, where essentially we are living in a Soylent Green society, and because they're not going to give us the free energy, are they? That's their plan, is not to give us the free energy. Whereas this is why they won't declassify free energy. Why not? Because it would make the need for Agenda 21 superfluous, and they don't want to make it superfluous. They want to make it necessary. They want us to think we need it. Rick says the Eilis harvest for the Esli's harvest for the world. Yeah, it was. I know the remake by the Christians. It's like John Lennon's Imagine. You know, there is a kind of like dark side to it, isn't it? Yeah. And Fabian Moon is quoting the Lord of the Rings. This is Galadriel. She says, "The world has changed. I feel it in the water. I feel it in the earth. I smell it in the air. Much that was once lost, for none now who remember it." Yeah. The elves, of course, symbolise, I think, this in Lord of the Rings, the spiritual side of the whole of our existence, which is why they leave Middle Earth just before the War of the Ring, or during the War of the Ring, because they essentially saying, look, humans, you now can do this yourself. Hachi says, hello, the wonderful Jim Mars. Yes, he predicted this over a decade ago. And the book Alien Agenda, I've not read it, but Jim Mars I love. I mean, his stuff's brilliant. I mean, he's such a sweet man. And I mean, I've listened to his various live streams and various interviews. All right, Hugh Charsoul says, I've seen the so-called TR-3B up close in October 2007 with a witness. It was in a field near Hereford with a blue-white ball of light, which was like a liquid dancing all over the fields. We just watched it all. I think you mentioned this before, yeah. And the TR-3B appeared with that, didn't it? You rang the cops, but they just laughed and took the report down. They would, wouldn't they? So when did you see the TR? You mentioned blue-white balls of light. So when did the TR-3B appear? Because the TR-3B is a solid object. It's a triangular-shaped craft, which is sometimes mistaken. I think people who see it may think it's alien. It's actually man-made. It's a man-made craft. I think it's partly designed by studying the wreckage of crashed flying saucers. Elizabeth says that Jim Mars died in 2017. Yeah, I wrote a little obituary for him, Elizabeth, on her Panmo Voice. On the subject of people who are alive and dead, I think I mentioned this earlier. Yeah, Lee Taylor Young is still alive. Now, she played the furniture girl, Shirl. And I wonder what she thinks of 2022 now. She's 76. She's still with us. She's old, but she's still with us. And I do wonder what she thinks of... I do wonder what she thinks of the real 2026. Oh, I forgot to mention, didn't I? One thing that I didn't think I mentioned this in my review. One thing that what happens in Soylent Green. A lot of the people are wearing like cloth masks over their face, exactly like the Coob masks. And clearly it's designed to keep dust out of the lungs or polluted air out of your lungs. But it did. I looked at that, and I look at the news stories. I walk around, seeing that people have got these things over their faces, and I thought, my God, isn't that amazing? The real 2022 does have people with cloth masks over their faces, doesn't it? Oh, here Hugh says it floated over the road as we drove under it. Thought it was a train going over a bridge at first glance, until we realised there was no bridge there. Diego Rivera says, what do you think about the James Webb Telescope? Well, I can't wait to see its pictures of Tabby Star, because it's supposed to be 10 times as powerful as any other astronomical instrument ever created. So I do hope they turn it towards Tabby Star. Now, this is interesting, because what's all this stuff about Kazakhstan? Because there's been massive uprisings in Kazakhstan, and I think Russia have just invaded or something. What's happened? I know that they're threatening Ukraine. My head's itching. But they've actually... Nihilus says Kazakhstan denies US-funded military laboratory was seized by rioters after Russia claimed a possible pathogen leak occurred. Oh my goodness me. Don't tell me this is another bloody scariant, isn't it? Is this another damn scariant? Let's see, is there anything in the news about it? Let's have a look at this. Oh, this is interesting. The NHS is making a fuss about we may lose staff over mandatory V words. Well, don't have the... That's because there's like over 200 NHS servicemen saying we're not going to have anything to do with it. Where is the world? 64 killed in Kazakhstan during unrests. Oh dear. Violent anti-government protesters. 6,000 people arrested. A substantial number of foreign nationals. Demonstrations triggered by the rise in fuel prices. So what's happening with Russia? Are Russia intervening because Lisa said something about this, I think. Lisa, what did you say? Yeah, what did you say about Kazakhstan? All eyes on Kazakhstan, said Rick. It could well be something like that. Yeah, I mean, it could be that. I don't think Putin would do. See, Putin's got his head screwed on. He's one of the few statesmen I feel any sense of respect for. Brando, hello. I'm not bad, thanks. Yeah, fuel prices, my ass. And if it's foreign nationals committing the crimes, then it's like engineered. Hatchie mentions, do give me David Bellamy's point of view on climate change. Oh, yeah, honestly, Hatchie, I met him once. I met him at one of the AV conferences, and he's such a lovely guy. I mean, I grew up watching his programs, and he went from, like, media celebrity, and then he was completely ostracized by everyone when he just said, look, this climate change thing's a load of bollocks, isn't it, Hello, Tessa1111. How are you? The Kazakhstan government have asked Putin for help. Teresa Walker says, I heard that Kazakhstan is one of the deep state's outposts. Not sure if it's true. Well, look at the architecture in Astana. They've got a new purpose-built capital. And it is full of... It's like Milton Keynes. It has massive amounts of Illuminati symbolism there. Tessa says, I hate to admit it, I saw Soylent Green in the original theatre run. Oh, Tessa, you must be quite old. But you've seen it in the cinemas, great, isn't it? Yeah. And Nihilist Logismatic, Kazakhstan has borders with China and Russia. Stinks of CIA antics. It's right in the middle of Asia, isn't it? Yeah. Diego Rivera, have you heard of rogue planets, Ben? Are they preparing us for something? Rogue planets are planets which are not orbiting any star, that are just floating randomly through the universe. Is this going to be like a last card? Not the last card, but the second last card is the asteroids. Are we going to find one heading for the Earth or something? Oh, you're 74, Tessa. Well, congratulations. I saw it's a good thing, actually. It's 75. Oh, right. Even better. Well, Tripper, what does Patrick Moore say about climate? Because he was certainly cancelled because it turned out he was a misogynist and he didn't support feminism. And Kerry says, well, believe it or not, Milton Keynes is going to test self-driving cars. Where else, Kerry? Where else? Yeah. Of course, it's got to be, hasn't it? It's got to be Milton Keynes. There's China, yeah. Tessa says China drove their rover to the cube. This is the Jade Rabbit rover, and there's this weird thing on the moon. But is it there yet? Because apparently it goes very slowly, and they have to be careful where they drive it. So, has it actually reached that cube? Because I thought it might be some kind of, it might be sort of thing like there's a couple of doors on the side of it, and you open it up, and it takes you down into some underground base. If so, you'll probably find the rover just sort of fails just at the right moment. But have they actually? Is it actually gone to the cube yet? Has it actually gone to the cube? Let's have a look at the science pages. Hang on. Science. James Webb completes epic deployment sequence. Oh, that's good. That's good. I'll just put in. How do I put in Jade Rabbit? Oh, let's have a look. Ooh, I don't know. Have you found out of they drove their rover to the cube? Yeah, Welsh Ripper, Patrick Moore, ex-Greenpeace, not the Stargazer. Oh, ex-Greenpeace, not the Stargazer. Oh, I see. I thought you meant the only Patrick Moore I can think about is the astronomer, you know. On tonight's programme, we're going to talk about Uranus. There are rings around Uranus and moons behind Uranus. We're probing into Uranus. Yeah. Oh, Rick on MK Ultra. Yeah, Milton Keynes Ultra. That's right. I think actually Kerry made that joke earlier on. Yeah. Oh, Brando says, I hate to spoil it for you, Ben, but Soylent Green is people. Oh, it's a horrible thing to think about, though. Would anyone? How much would people care if they knew? We don't find out because that's when the film ends. We don't find out whether it's just all forgotten or whether he does get the word out to the people. Yeah. David Schultz says there's they've had freak snowfall in Pakistan, very, very heavy snowfall, and a lot of people have died because they simply been trapped in their cars and they've frozen to death. That's horrible, that is, yeah. Tessa said, maybe it's the Israeli bug box. Oh, that is the Bereshit. Yes, it's full of what's technically not bugs. They are tardigrades, which are like little creatures, which are very, very hardy. They can. It wouldn't be surprised if some of them have survived on the moon. So who knows what they will evolve into? I know that the Bereshit unfortunately didn't land. It failed just as it was landing. You know. Hatchie says David Bellamy was took off because he spoke the truth in this inverted world. Unfortunately, we can't be doing that, Lamau. It won't last, what they are doing. I really respect people who do that, who will be a voice crying in the wilderness when they know what the effects of it will be so awful. Tessa mentions the Bill Gates seed box. Well, Bill Gates is behind that big seed vault they've got, isn't they? And near the North Pole. It's in Svalbard. And I think that's a bit interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Teresa Walker says the hexagon on Saturn's pole could be keeping the Earth in a low vibrational frequency. David Icke speaks about it. Yeah, I mean, it is a mystery about what causes that thing to form, yeah. Kerry Woolley says, Lyndon Johnson, President Lyndon Johnson, he who controls the weather controls the world. Yeah. She says, human needed. There's a shop near that will bleach Uranus. They'll never escape those jokes. This is why they had to call it Uranus. They had to change the pronunciation. Barney bought a dildo. That's a good name. Where did you get those headphones? It's from the shop which does computer repairs. Tessa, Dr. Joseph Farrell came home from hospital. I didn't know he was I didn't know he was sick. Kerry, is that next to the shit shop? Welsh Ripper says, David Attenborough talking shit. Oh, right, because David Attenborough is one of these, he's one of these population reduction people, isn't he? Hey, Legend Real, how are you doing? You see, if they think of us as farm animals, so why wouldn't they do what they do to farm animals? So I had a train of thought which I lost. But if they're going to take sheep offal and feed it to cattle, and then they keep cattle offal and feed it to cattle, and cattle offal and feed it to pigs, and then they put it into the food that we eat, then why would they treat us any different? Why would they treat us with more respect when we know they essentially regard us as just another species of farm animal? So maybe Soylent Green isn't quite as preposterous as you might think. Welsh Ripper, I'll check out the stuff about David Attenborough, because I'm a huge critic of his, because he's really got on board with this Agenda 21 thing. David Lovelock has as well. James Lovelock, sadly, he's on board with it too. A lot of these environmental types are doing this now. They're jumping on board with this bandwagon. Nihilist Lives Matter says, if David Attenborough wants population reduction, well, he's had a good innings and charity starts at home. Good point. But it's never themselves, is it? It's always other people. Bill Gates has one of the biggest carbon footprints in the world. He's one of the richest men who ever lived. He has 6 jets and 20 cars. I mean, come on, Bill. Why don't you set a good example, eh? But of course they won't, will they? Tessa, if aliens feed on fear, they might be getting fat. Well, I think on one level they do. It's like what Matthew Deleuze talked. Well, he used to. Matthew Deleuze has gone quiet now. He's a twat anyway. I don't like him personally, but he used to talk about this, and as much as I dislike the man, I do respect what he does, and he came up with some good ideas. So I do think that, although it seems extreme, the whole thing with Soylent Green, it's a vision of the future which is only partly inaccurate. We do have, obviously, we have food now which is highly processed, much more so than when the film was made 50 years earlier. So we have highly processed food everywhere, whose ingredients we don't know about. Do you remember the scandal about horse meat? They found there was horse meat. It was in chicken nuggets from supermarkets. How did that get in? Didn't they know what the ingredients were? How did this secret ingredient manage to get in? Where are they getting this stuff from? And if horse meat can get in there, maybe other kinds can as well. Stuff which we don't want in our food. All right, Kerry Woolley's talking about Stanley Johnson. Yes, the father of our fearless leader. I've already read a little bit of one of his books because it was actually I filmed it, didn't I? It was at the Basis Project headquarters, so I managed to read a little bit of it. Yeah. But he's got another one called The Virus: Life Without Birth. I know he's like a kind of. I know that Stanley Johnson is like he's a former diplomat, and he's very into sort of like he's very Malthusian. Apparently. Barney bought a dildo, says, get that shirt off. Show us your love length. You have to pay me, Barney. You have to pay me. It's not that kind of video, I'm afraid. Teresa Walker, adrenochrome, is it real? I googled it and it's there. The adrenochrome exists, yeah. It is a real chemical. Yeah. I need some more dragon juice. Barney says £50. No, Barney. You have to add a few zeros to that. Hatchie says, I'd put Dickie David Attenborough on board Captain Pugwash's ship. Let him set sail with the BBC. Give him the same cabin as Master Bates and Seaman Staines. Yes. As long as we keep him away from Roger the cabin boy. David Schultz, judge rejects 75-year delay on V-word data. Oh, to 8 months only. Oh dear, so Pfizer and Moderna and all these other things that the Kaiser Chiefs were saying, on the stage. Yeah, they actually call the Pfizer Chiefs now. In their concert, they were talking about how wonderful these companies were. They wanted a 75-year delay on their data. I bet they bloody did, didn't they? Nihilist says, I think they discovered horse meat in beef products. I think it was a dodgy abattoir or two. It was isolated, not ubiquitous. I hope so, Nihilist. But who knows what? Kerry Woolley says there's a film with Johnny Depp where he takes adrenochrome. I don't know which one's that. The Who and the Davos exterminate, says Kerry. Oh, Davros. It was Davros was the creator of the Daleks, wasn't he? He was this horrible creature that drove around in a kind of half. Yeah, Nihilist Lives Matter says the Kaiser Chiefs are always shit, weren't they? Yeah. Barney says, I wouldn't mind testing the strength of that headboard out with you. Oh, goodness me. Barney. I'm afraid it's... I'm already looking in other directions, I'm afraid. Sorry. Yeah, Teresa says, all these elites seem to have an unhealthy obsession with eugenics. Why don't they contribute to population reduction? Well, you see, they want to reduce other people, don't they? But they do, don't they? Yeah, they do want... I'm itching terribly. They do seem to be going into dodgy areas. Like Schwab was saying the other day, that he said that the C word was a good thing. He actually said that. He said we could. He didn't actually say build back better, even though he used the term build back better another time. But he said we can use this as a way of altering society or something like that. Welsh Ripper, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. I've never seen that Welsh Ripper. Is that good? It's got a very weird looking cover on the DVD. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. It's a weird thing. It's a very weird thing. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. It's got a distorted image on the front of it. Of a face. It's got a face with sunglasses and it's like warped terribly. It's about a duo's journey through Las Vegas as their interjournalistic intentions devolve into an exploration of the city under the influence of psychoactive substances. Oh my God. Oh, that sounds quite good. Oh, the James Webb Telescope is deploying. It's got an epic deployment. It's the biggest astronomical mirror ever sent into space and is ready for focusing. Oh, all right. How about that? Yeah, Kerry Woolley, yes, build back better, but the B could be a number 6, and then you have 3 sixes, wouldn't you? Diego Vera, why are there no pictures of stars from the moon? Well, that's simply a lighting thing. There's far more damning evidence when it comes to that. Could they not land a telescope on the moon, says Diego Vera? I expect so, but they might be a little bit of they might be a bit scared with what they might find. Having a radio telescope on the dark side of the moon would be brilliant, because then you'd be free from the electronic noise of the Earth. You could like do. I mean, you know what I think of SETI? It's a load of crap, but yeah. The Johnny Depp movie about blood. That's not From Hell, is it? Welsh Ripper. William has been in all weekend, in and out of bed. I've got work tomorrow. I'm not going to make this much longer, actually, guys, if you don't mind, because I've got work tomorrow and I've got to be on Nocturnal Frequencies at 2 a.m. But is there anything else you want to bring up about Soylent Green? I think we've covered it all, really, haven't we? I think it's an interesting film. I think it gives out specific ideas. I think it obviously misunderstands the issues to do with overpopulation and climate change. But when it comes to food production and things like that, it's absolutely right. All right, says Nihilist Lives Matter. The dark side of the moon already has tenants, apparently. Well, it wouldn't surprise me. Maybe they're underneath that cube. What's happened to that cube? Okay, let's have a look. Hang on. Cube on the moon. Just want to look this up. China's rover finds a mysterious rock. Oh, remember that mysterious moon cube? Scientists now know what it is. They found an cube-shaped object. Was it an obelisk, a mystery hut, perhaps a sign of alien life? Well, the rover made a rather lengthy trek. I'll show you it. And let me just put on display capture. There you go. Yeah, here we go. There's the original picture. What's that in the distance? I thought it might be the top of a lift shaft. No, I don't want notifications. Get out of the way. Get out of the bloody way. Yes, I'll have your cookies. Was it a sign of alien life? Well, the rover made a rather lengthy trek over to check it out and has sent confirmation back to Earth. The object is, drumroll please, a rock. Yes, it's just a rock, and a pretty small rock at that. Oh, that's what it is it? If that's real, if it's not just a cover-up. It turned out to be very small when approached. Oh, really? Oh, right, I see. All right, where's that? Well, that was a bit disappointing, wasn't it? Unless, of course, well, I don't want to go down too many rabbit holes here. Unless it is actually an alien base, and they're covering it up. I don't know. Yeah. Oh, right, yes. Tessa says From Hell is blaming one of the royals for the murders. Yeah, this is to do with Jack the Ripper. And it blames Sir William Gull, who was the royal physician. However, I don't know if you've ever seen the Illuminati 3 by Christopher Everard, where he talks about how it was the leader of the gang was Randolph Churchill, who was the top official in those days. He was like he'd done almost everything except Prime Minister, and he's Winston Churchill's father. You know. Bill Bryson's moon footage on YouTube. Oh, cool. Funny things about rocks with doors, says Tessa. Is the cube monolith shaped? Well, not cool. Unfortunately, no. It looks like just a square, oblong-shaped rock. Follow the rabbit, says Kerry Woodley. Yeah, the jade rabbit. Guys, I don't think we can add much more now, can we? I think we've covered it all. Sorry, this is a bit shorter than normal, but I've got a bit of a rough night ahead. I'm looking forward to being on Nocturnal Frequencies, but it's always like a bit of a, it's awkward hours, and I've got to work in the morning, so yeah. Kerry Woodley mentions Alan Moore. Yeah, he was co-author of V for Vendetta. Funny about V for Vendetta, isn't it? It covers the whole thing that Soylent Green does, doesn't it? There's a lot of Soylent Green has inspired a lot of films, like Cloud Atlas, which you remember the genetically modified slaves in Cloud Atlas. They eat the reconstituted corpses of the ones who die. In Blake 7, there's that scene where they're absorbing bodies and things like that. And in V for Vendetta, The Watchmen. I've not watched that, Kerry. But the in V for Vendetta, you know that what's going on because V manages to capture some food from a government supply train. He makes something on toast for Evie, and she bites it and she says, "Oh God, it's delicious." She thinks, and he says, "I got it from a government supply train." You know why? Because that is proper food, which all the elites still eat, and ordinary people like Evie. It's not actually discussed in detail in V for Vendetta, but they eat all they eat the processed, reconstituted, maggoty crap that the elite will have us all eating. Della, I appreciate you getting up for that. I really do, Della. Della's going to tune in tomorrow, which is great. Logan's Run, Tessa. That's a good one, isn't it? Yeah. That's Michael York and Jenny Agutter are in that, and that's very good. That's a really good film about a future world where it's like Brave New World. It's very similar to Huxley's Brave New World. Do watch Logan's Run if you can. That's very good. All right, guys. So I'm going to call it a night. Sorry, I finished earlier than usual, but we've kind of exhausted the topic. But put some comments in. I can always come back to this in the comments reply video, and I'm going to anyway for the comments and in the other videos, but put some comments in underneath. See you, David Schultz. Take care. See you again soon. We'll do another of these live streams. Tessa, I think it was 1976 Logan's Run, so it's 3 years later, but it was in the 70s during that golden age where Soylent Green was made. Yeah. See you, Rick. Teresa Walker, Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Yeah. Cheers, Tessa. Thanks for tuning in. And Pat Riot, thank you very much. Williamism. All the best, mate. Thank you, all of you. It's been a good one. It's been a good live stream. Short but sweet. See you later, Della. See you. Didn't like the tripods, Kerry. Didn't like it. Read the book. Didn't like it. Night, guys. Night. So, with no further ado, there'll be another video coming very soon. All right. Maybe it'll be another live stream. I want to do one about the cryonics. I've not done that yet. And God bless Kev Baker. And may he rest in peace. See you, gentlemen and ladies.